Good morning and welcome to RCCT Talk. I always forget that extra T. Today, my guest is Kathy Waite, and Kathy wears many, many hats for our family. She's a member of St. Francis. She works for St. Amelia's and is helping out with so many things. So, Kathy, what is your actual job title?
Youth minister for, I guess, the family, and outreach director for St. Amelia Church.
Oh, so you do the outreach as well. I knew there was a different piece in there, but I wasn't sure. I didn't realize that it was the outreach too, which is so important. Because I think one of the things that I love about our family so much is I really feel we put our money where our mouth is when it comes to the aspects of outreach between just working with the community. I think that's such an important call as Catholics that sometimes is forgotten, or not forgotten, but I guess overlooked when we're worried about other things. It's like juggling. So I just love that we have dedicated outreach people like you.
Thank you.
But today I wanted to talk about, if you're willing, a lot about that youth ministry, because I see those things in the bulletin about Wise Wednesdays and SALT, Stand Up and Live.
Stand and live truth.
Live Truth. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about those for me.
Okay. SALT is a youth group for middle school, 6th grade through 8th grade.
Oh, wonderful. And an important time.
And a fun time. So we get to do a lot of fun things that we cram into a session once a month. And so we usually start out with some kind of icebreaker because they don't all know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always something active. And then we do some kind of activity. It could be something to do with the upcoming Sunday gospel. It could be just something that's going on and we want to have a Christian view of it. But it's always fun. And then we play a game in the gym, and then we go downstairs to the cafeteria and we have pizza, and there are usually cupcakes and goodies. And, it's not super structured.
See, I think that's so important, though. And for those of you who didn't get to see us talking beforehand, I think middle school in particular, and I think the pandemic kind of exacerbated this, that so much of our communication happens online, and kids, obviously, they care about games and video games and stuff like that, which, I'm all for. It teaches them reasoning skills. But so much of that interaction has gone away from, I'm talking to a person, I'm going to a community gathering, to, well, I'll talk to them or I'll type to them. I mean, they think typing to a person is the same as talking, and having a group where they're getting to know each other at a church of all places, which I think that's just so cool. Even if it's unstructured, I think that that's amazing. And is it a specific time every month?
Yes. We do meet once a month. In December, it will be December 10th. We meet at St. Amelia School in the gym, and we meet at 6:30 and go until 8 o'clock. And we tell everyone that you are welcome to bring friends. They do not have to belong to your church. They do not have to even be Catholic. Mm-hmm. Bring your friends. If you will have more fun, bring your friends. That's fine. The more the merrier.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a high school version of it as well. I can't remember that.
That's called LEAD.
Okay.
That doesn't really have the same kind of thing. We just say that we are all followers of Christ. We need to lead others to Him.
That's wonderful.
So we have a high school group that also meets once a month, and they do a lot of the same things. But there's just definitely a more high school level. We throw in videos. I see if I can find a Father Mike Schmidt's video on something that's going on currently that we can discuss. But It's a bit more discussion. We encourage them to lead the prayer experience that we have in the very beginning, and take a role, do some leadership opportunities. I try to bring service in whenever possible, and then their favorite part, of course, is the game in the gym.
Of course.
And then we go downstairs and have snacks, and it's more unstructured time where they can chat because they're coming from a lot of different high schools. Mm-hmm. And they don't see each other for a whole month, and they want to reconnect and face to face. And that is so important for them. And that's what our church is, coming back together and being together.
I think, well, and in a lot of the reflections that I do, I think about that a lot because the idea of community is so changed. And I feel in such a positive way that you're working on rebuilding a lot of the idea of the community. Now, full disclosure, I went to high school with Kathy's son, so she's kind of watched me grow up for a long time. But I remember in high school, we used to have the Christmas with Santa at the high school where all the kids volunteered. We used to have Fall Fest where everybody was participatory. And I feel like as the years have passed on, we don't have as many of those. I remember like even the volunteer firefighters picnic. Everybody was connected to the firefighters. Everyone. And as this more modern iteration of community has happened, we're not as connected. And I think that that's so sad because and I think the church is called to fulfill that spot, to be that spot where we can. And of course, the Eucharist is important. Of course, our faith is important. But I also think we caring for each other is one of the most important things that Christ left us to do.
Right.
And I think being a community and what you're doing to instill that with youth, being in community, being where they want to talk to each other, being where they want to reconnect, it's not only important, but it's also a beautiful thing and a testament to your ministry that you have those people coming back, those students coming back. I'm grateful to you for it.
Oh, thank you. I love what I do. It's the most rewarding thing. But the funny thing is I've been at St. Amelia's doing youth ministry for almost 16 years. So I've watched a lot of people grow up, and when they became young adults, there was nothing. So we started a young adult group. And we would do active things. We would go on hikes to Devil's Hole. Mm-hmm. We would go out to, we used to go on a hike out at the seminary or...
which is beautiful.
It is beautiful. Each June or July we go on a hike to the Eternal Flame, and then we go to Ted's afterwards for lunch. And, we would do things like that because there has to be something to keep them connected too. Mm-hmm. Some of them didn't want to age out. They loved being in lead and weren't ready to be done with that. And they weren't ready to just be helpers. They wanted to participate. They wanted to be in. They wanted something for young adults. So we stepped up. And that has...
And what was the young adult? Is that the Wise Ones?
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now for young adults. That started actually in Lent, and after it's a Bible study on wisdom books.
Okay.
And so we called it Wise Wednesdays. And we meet at 6:00 on every Wednesday night, and for a half hour, everyone is just catching up with each other for what happened in the last week, and that's for ages 18 to 39.
And that is so... It's so... I love that you brought that up because that is, I think, the biggest age where we begin to lose people from church. And I think it's a very difficult age. I would never go back to being in my early 20s or late teens because, and I'm not saying everybody at that age is, but there's sometimes such a listlessness of you're no longer a kid, you're not quite a full adult, you're finding yourself, you're defining yourself now without your parents holding your hand necessarily. It's a different world, and I think that's where a lot of the times we lose people from church because they're looking for something and they don't even know what they're necessarily looking for.
Right.
And we haven't always offered and said, well, come and see.
Right.
We have something. That's such a... I know I keep using it, and I don't mean to sound like a dead horse, but the importance of what you do, I don't think can be stressed enough.
Oh, thank you.
And I think the way that you go about it, because you have such a calm demeanor.
There is nothing calm about it.
You know what? I heard an analogy recently, and I think this actually works, of people like that are like ducks. On top and the surface, they're completely fine, but under the water, their legs are going like this.
That's very much me.
And
That is very much me. That is so funny. Everyone keeps threatening to put caffeine into one of my drinks. I drink everything decaf because I joke that I'll turn into the Incredible Hulk, and they want to see that. But I'm already very high energy, and I don't need caffeine. I don't need more sugar. I just keep rolling. But I did want to get back to the reason that I'm doing this. I actually went to school for art.
Oh, really?
Yes, I didn't go in. More like commercial art was my big interest. But once I had children, I saw how I wanted them to stay connected. And so I wanted to be part of it. And after they grew up and went on their own, I saw that they still needed something. And that's what kind of helped me to come up with ideas to, if it would inspire them, maybe it would inspire others too. And now I do it because I need the church. I desperately feel the church is part of my life and I need it. And if I need it, I need there to be a church in the future for our young people. So it isn't, I don't look at them as being the future of our church and they better step up and be our foundation. I want a church to be there for them.
That's been one of the things that I've always worried about because my entire career, and I never intended on it, was church, and I grew up at St. Tim's, and I loved St. Tim's and I have so many fond memories, but we all joked that it was the drive-through mass. It was maybe 26 minutes.
Express mass.
Yes. And I worked for the Lutherans right at beginning in high school. I learned more about Catholicism from the Lutherans and just the structure of how it was, and it became so important to me. And it became what I invested my entire life into because I see the good that it does. I see the people it brings together and how important it is. So many of the people who are older, in their 70s and 80s, this is their family. Yes, they have their family at home, but their friends, we go out to coffee, we go to church, we go to coffee, we talk about it. And it's such a beautiful gift that they have of living that life. And I completely see where you're talking about you want the church to still be there for us, for all of us in the future, because it is a gift that some of us have this appreciation for. And I think if more people gave it a chance or saw the love, because it's so easy to get bogged down in this world of, oh, this is a pressure issue, or that's a pressure issue, or this is going wrong in the world, or this is going wrong, that you don't get to enjoy peace. And I think the church can give you peace, should you take it. And I'm very grateful for what you do.
Oh.
And how did you get from art, though, over to there?
It was an interesting transition. But again, having children, my daughter went to school at St. Edmund's,
Mm-hmm.
and they needed religion teachers. And I said, I could probably teach religion. I'm sure there's a book, so I'll learn as I go, because I don't remember. And I started with 5th grade. And after that, after 1 year, then that summer I ran Vacation Bible School.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I became the coordinator of religious ed for the lower grades and eventually for the upper grades as well. And loved it and loved those religious ed children, but I was housed in the school and my daughter was in the school. So my son went through religious ed, my daughter went through the school,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew everybody on both sides, and we started a youth ministry. We saw the need there, and it was just so much fun. And I joke that I got into youth ministry because I miss playing dodgeball. But that's not really true. But I just saw the need and wanted to be part of it. And I knew that it could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had so much fun with it.
You know, and it's funny because one of my more influential movies growing up that I think led me to my music ministry life was probably Sister Act.
I love that movie.
I love that movie. And at St. Christopher's, we do their Hail Holy Queen once in a while. But church can be fun. Father Rob Orlowski, as I'm sure most of you have heard, can make his homilies, you roll over laughing, but you learn from what he says. You can go and see your friends and talk and laugh. Church can be full of wonder and full of excitement. And there is a fun aspect that I think sometimes when we're so worried about kids of, you can't do that, you can't do that, don't you move to that. Most of my siblings still go to church, and they used to make fun of my grandfather because my grandfather was really the influential one who pushed church with us. But he let us all, and as crazy as it was, bring one toy. You could not be distracting with the toy, but you can bring one toy to church, just to keep your mind occupied. And that worked. I don't know how it worked, but it worked because most of us still go. Except my cousin Annie used to tell him, if you get us there after the first song starts, we shouldn't go because you messed up. Of course, at St. Tim's, that was probably because it was halfway over at that point.
They start early.
Yeah,
they always
do. But I think that idea of church could be fun and youth ministry could be fun. It is fun. So I do want to let you go because I know you have so much to do, paddling duck. But what is something that you would like to leave the people of RCCT with as just what you do, or a tidbit of wisdom, or what you've gleaned over these years of building these ministries?
Oh gosh, I felt kind of selfish because I wanted to make it fun for me too. But I'm hoping that more young people will join us. December 10th is grade 6 through 8 at St. Amelia School from 6:30 to 8. Lead will be December 17th. That's 7:30 till 9 p.m. in the school cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
And and Wise Wednesdays are every Wednesday night. We actually hold that at St. Amelia Outreach, but everyone in those age groups are welcome. Everyone is welcome to come. We're friendly. There's always food. I'm a feeder, so I make sure that everybody has something to eat and has fun. And if you are nervous about coming, bring a friend. But everyone is welcome in all of our family, and you are welcome to bring friends outside of our church too. We would love to see you, and we would love to share our faith with you and our fun.
And thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for who you are and what a gift you have given us.
Oh, thank you.
We hope to see you at all of those. Keep an eye on the Facebook and the website and Instagram, because we'll make sure that we keep posting them, because this is an important part of our ministry. And thank you for joining us this morning.